Welcome back to the Dividend Diplomats YouTube channel. You got your boys here, Lanny and Bert. The Dividend Diplomats. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. Get your coffee, get your Joe, get your hot cocoa, get your tea, whatever it is you drink in the morning. Throw some Baileys in there because we're going to talk about two dividend stocks that are entering my dividend watch list. They're entering that dividend buy zone right now.
Smash that subscribe button, guys. Give us a nice thumbs up on the road to 20,000 subscribers. And guys, the stock market's bringing opportunities. Bert's got two stocks to buy right now because they're entering his buy zones. They're entering his dividend stock watch list. And maybe he's adding some passive income here. Let's go.
That's absolutely right. The market is interesting. It's been an interesting week in the market, especially given a lot of the earnings news that's coming out. Some companies are popping, some companies are dropping. It's a little bit of each, but it has presented some opportunities. There have been some stocks that continue to drop and continue to fall and continue to enter that buy list. It's going to be funny this weekend. Keep an eye out for tomorrow's video too. Laney's also found two stocks that are entering on his watch list too. So throughout this weekend, you're going to get four of them. The two companies that we're talking about here today are both in my portfolio, and they are both in Lanny's collective portfolio too. So these are two stocks that we already own. No, we are not adding any new tickers to our portfolio if we decide to buy these companies.
No, 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 not in my house. R.I.P. Dikembe Mutombo. Now, Bert, you own these two stocks. When we look at these two stocks, we're going to do metric for each, for both, or are we going to go one stock at a time?
We'll do one stock at a time here, especially because they are two completely different stocks. So
I
separate
respect that.
evaluations, separate metrics, as you're going to find out.
I
One of them,
respect that.
yeah, one of them is a REIT. So we're going to look at the price to FFO ratio. And a lot of metrics side to that. And the other is an international stock. So it's going to be that price to earnings ratio. So when we look at them, we run them through our screener in those three metrics, PE ratio, payout ratio, history of increasing dividends, and that bonus metric, the yield. Each one of them are going to have their own unique set and circumstances. So we'll look at them one by one.
I dig it, brother. I dig it. All right. Stock market, though, Bert, we got to at least touch on the S&P 500 because it's been faltering a little bit. It's down to 5,700 at the time of this video, recording this on Halloween, October 31st here, guys. 5,705, up 20% still this year. And Bert, the interesting part is this stock was definitely hot and heavy last year on everybody's stock list. Everybody's purchases was happening in this certain ticker symbol.
Including this
stock is up 25% since last year, but it's pretty much back to even now, right? As of the time of this video almost.
Yeah, so those last 2 months in 2023, it popped up where it remained flat, came shooting down in 2024. That's where it entered that buy zone. That's where I scooped up a lot. That's where I bought a lot of this company. Jumped back up. Now it's coming back down and looking like it's heading towards that buy zone again. Anyone want to take a minute? We're going to pause here for 10 seconds. Throw your guess down there in that comment section of what company it's going to be talking about. Let us know there. And you know what? While you're throwing it down there, shameless plug, subscribe to the channel again, everybody. We are oh so close to hitting that 20,000 subscriber mark. So help us get over there, get going.
All right, Bert. I think everybody's guesses are in. What is the stock here that Bert the Herd is watching? Oh, yeah.
Cream of the crop.
The cream rises.
Yeah, we're talking Realty Income, ticker symbol. Oh, everybody's monthly dividend paying REIT. Yes, that is the company we're talking about. For the last 4 or 5 months, ever since interest rates came down and it came teased that they were going to drop lower, the stock price shot up into the 60s. Shot up to as high as 64, 65, I believe. I don't have the exact number, but that's about where it was. Now it's at 59.37. And you're absolutely right, Lanny has erased those gains year to date. It's only up 1.37%. Luckily, I did load up on Realty Income during that down period. I grew my position. I own 234 shares of Realty Income. So would not be a bad idea to add a few more here, especially if it looks good running them through our screener.
Oh, I dig it, brother. I can't wait to run this dividend monthly paying, passive income producing, passive income growing, ticker symbol O for the Realty income stock through the DD stock screener. Now, remember, we're not using EPS here. We're using funds from operations, and they're going to do price to funds from operations ratio for that valuation, right, Bert?
That's absolutely right. So that price was 59.37. That FFO
Below
per
60, below 60.
below 60. That FFO per Seeking Alpha was 422. That's a price to FFO ratio of 14.07. So well below the S&P 500, right in line with a lot of the other REITs in the sector. Maybe a little bit of a premium, but it's Realty Income, baby. There's a stock that deserves a slight premium. It's this one.
Yeah, just a little bit of a premium payout ratio. Again, is you want to see closer, in the 80 to 90%, meaning that they're paying out most of their earnings. Oh, is actually only 74.88, below 75%, which is great. Because they are a dividend aristocrat, Bert, because they've increased that dividend for how long, brother?
26 plus years. Interesting fact, they've increased that dividend every single quarter since the company has been public. They are slow, steady dividend growth stock.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
It's damn true.
it is damn true. That 5-year growth rate is 3.55%. So slow and steady wins the race. You couple that with a dividend yield of what, Landy?
Oh, the dividend yield is still now over 5% now. I think at one point it was squeaking back below 5%, but now the stock price has come back to earth below $60 a share. That dividend yield is 5.32%, which pairs favorably with that dividend growth rate closer to 4%. And it crushes their 5-year dividend yield average of 4.74%. So you're definitely getting more yield now than you usually have been over the last 5 years.
That's right there. So we're going to put the metrics up here for Realty Income. You're going to see them here. Price to FFO is 14. Payout ratio is 75%. 5-year dividend growth rate is 3.55. They've increased that dividend for 26 plus years with a 5.32% yield.
You buying, Chico?
Well, I think no, not at the moment. I'm going to keep waiting. If it hits that 5.5% yield mark, where you get that above 5.5, it's going to become very interesting. So it's not that far. It's really not that far. That's what
No.
about 57.5 is where you need it to
Yeah,
get to for that.
you need a 5% drop is what you're looking for.
Yeah, not far off.
And the reason why REITs are dropping is because the longer end of the curve rates are flying high. You guys have seen it. Mortgage rates, obviously, for a brief moment in mid to end September, they did come down. But guess what, guys? The last 5 weeks, it is flying higher than
Right back up. So REITs are coming down. So for all those people that said, darn, I should have grabbed some high quality REITs while rates were lower before the market. I mean, yeah, sorry, while rates were higher before the stock rose. You might be getting a second bite at that apple. So that's why Realty Income, if it drops down, I'm not going to go all in at 57.5 or at that 5.5. I'm just going to keep nibbling. I'm going to take that strategy I did before. Buy 3 shares, buy 4 shares. If it goes down, just keep building up that position.
I mean, you might be getting that second window of an opportunity, and it's going to be up to you guys if you strike while the price is where it's at. But Bert,
Yeah.
there's 2 stocks on your list here, man. We've got to slide into that second dividend stock here. A Sin stock, maybe?
Yeah, it's one I bet you never expected me to talk about this one today. We're talking Diageo,
Oh,
ticker symbol
oh yeah.
DEO. I bought Diageo a long, long time ago. Not the largest position in my portfolio, Laney.
Probably close to 10 years ago at this point, to be honest.
Yeah, it was about 10 years ago. I haven't done much with it. It's kind of sat there. I only own 13.96 shares of it. So again, not the largest position, not a small position, not large, but definitely not full by any stretch of the means. When I was just looking at the companies, Laney, that I was looking for a sale, I was looking to see what's going on here. I thought Diageo was oddly very interesting. They're down 13.81% year to date. They're down 19% over the last 52 weeks, down 23.83%. So a lot of red for Diageo.
Yeah, and as we go into the metrics, we'll kind of get a little bit of a price expectation of where we want to see Diageo.
Mhm.
Now, to give a little bit of a sign of the brands, you've got Johnny Walker, Captain Morgan, Bailey's, Guinness, Smirnoff. They do have Diddy, Ciroc. Can't talk about it. No Diddy there. They do own Casamigos, I believe, Kettle
And
One
you say
Vodka.
right off.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, but usually your adult beverage is an addictive type of thing, and if times are bad, usually things do well for those types of companies, which is why you usually own it. It's a good recession proof stock. But Bert, when we go through the metrics, I think we'll find out kind of where we want Diageo to be to possibly re-up on some more shares here. Because I think I've featured it a couple of times too on my watch list in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But it's finally down to $124.16 again as of this video, as of October 31st. Earnings are not looking too bad though, right?
No, 679. So you have a PE ratio of 18.29. Again, Diageo's never going to be the cheapest stock. It's never going to be one where you have a low teens price to earnings ratio, but it's definitely a discount compared to the S&P 500, especially in that sin stock sector. Now that's a tongue twister right there.
Well, it's because Philip Morris has just absolutely murdered it, but
Yeah, that's true. And when you look at the other metrics too, I thought that was interesting. Their dividend's $4.14 from Seeking Alpha. Payout ratio is 60.97%. So it just a smidge above our 60% threshold, but not a really concerning amount. It's barely above. So plenty of room before it reaches 100%.
since it's an international company, pays dividends twice a year, the trend is looking up. On
Yeah.
average, the growth rate looks at about 4%, um, which doesn't pair that favorably with the dividend yield of 3.33%.
Mhm.
You're getting a little bit over a 7% compound factor there, typically like above 8.5+% here.
Sure.
5-year yield, though, they're trading above it by a whole percent. It's 2.32%. So definitely getting a little bit more of a bang for your buck than you have been the last 5 years.
Yeah, so that's why Diageo, when you put the metrics up here, that
Mhm.
18 PE, 60% payout, 4% 5-year growth rate, that trending upward dividend that's only technically been increasing for 2 years with a yield of 3.33%. That's where I think it's fascinating. Am I running to buy it today? No. But is it far off from that buy zone? Not really either. If it gets down to like the 115 area, Lanny, that would be a really interesting price for Diageo.
Yeah, you get a yield of, well over 3.5%. It's actually 3.6% on the dot at 115.
Yeah,
You look at the math to get down to 115, you gotta,
not that far.
you know,
A little
no,
bit.
it's 7% drop. That's yeah.
It's not close. It's not far though. A Realty Income was a 5% drop from where I want to. DEO 7%. So again, it's entering that buy zone and it's getting close. You see it flying into the buy zone. The question is, everybody, are you buying these two dividend stocks? Are you looking into Realty Income? Are you looking into Diageo? Do you agree Realty Income around 57 and a half at the 5.5% yield and Diageo at about 115? That would give it about a 3.5 to 3.6% yield. What are your thoughts on those specific price targets? Let us know in that comment section.
Guys, you guys gotta let us know in those comments because man, we want to know what other stocks are you buying right now? How much passive income have you been adding in this last quarter of the year? And we're entering now the last 2 months, guys. Like the video, subscribe to this gosh damn channel, guys. And Bert, what's the final words?
You're either with us or you're against us, Jack.
That was Bert the Hurt and Lanny from the Dividend Diplomats over and out.